From jungle-choked islands to the final defense of the mainland, Japan's arsenal was a mix of engineering genius and desperate innovation. Today, we're breaking down the steel that fueled the rising sun. These are the most iconic Japanese weapons of World War II. Infantry small arms. The Type 38 rifle, known simply as the 38, was the incredibly long-lived backbone of the Imperial Army. You can't miss its absurdly long barrel and the sliding metal dust cover that rattled with every bolt cycle. It was the standard-issue workhorse that proved nearly indestructible in the muddy, grit-choked jungles of Southeast Asia. The Type 99 rifle, or the short rifle, was the harder-hitting successor chambered in a powerful 7.7mm round. It's famous for the strange folding wire anti-aircraft sights intended for massed volley fire against low-flying planes. It served as a rugged and reliable infantry rifle that remained the primary threat to Allied squads across the Pacific. The Type 44 carbine, nicknamed the cavalry carbine, was built for high-speed aggression and close-quarters combat. It is distinguished by a heavy, permanently attached spike bayonet that folds neatly rearward into the wooden stock. It was the favorite of elite cavalry and engineers who needed a weapon that was always bayonet-ready. From long-range precision to close-quarters chaos, we have the sidearms and submachine guns. The Type 14 Nambu was the primary sidearm, simply called the Nambu. It's recognizable by its flared grip and an oversized circular trigger guard designed for use with heavy winter gloves. While it looked sleek, officers often considered its 8mm cartridge relatively underpowered compared to the heavy-hitting Western pistols. The Type 94 pistol is often called the Type 94, but it's better known for its dangerous and accidental reputation. You can see the exposed sear bar running along the left side of the frame. This design flaw was infamous. Simply pressing the side of the weapon while holstered could cause it to discharge a round unexpectedly. The Type 100 submachine gun was the rare and rapid-fire Type 100, issued only to the most elite units. It stands out because of its side-mounted magazine and, uniquely for an SMG, a lug for a full-sized bayonet. It was reserved for paratroopers and special raiders who needed high-intensity firepower for blitzing enemy beachheads. From individual fire to the suppressive roar of the front lines, we moved to the machine guns. The Type 11 light machine gun earned the nickname the Hopper for its bizarre top-heavy feeding system. It features a prominent open hopper on the left side where soldiers stacked standard 5-round rifle clips to keep the weapon firing. It was a logistical dream but a mechanical nightmare, often seizing up if any dirt hit the oiled cartridges. The Type 96 and Type 99 light machine guns were the refined, optics-ready killers derived from the Czech ZB-26 lineage. They are easily identified by the top-mounted box magazine and the 2.5x telescopic sight fixed to the receiver. These were arguably the best light machine guns of the war, offering terrifying precision over long distances. The Type 92 heavy machine gun was feared by Allied troops as the Woodpecker. You'll notice the massive radio cooling fins stacked along the barrel and its heavy, stable tripod mount. It fired with a slow, rhythmic mechanical thud that could hold a defensive line against entire battalions. Armored fighting vehicles. The Type 94 tankette, or the bean tank, was the tiny scout that went where no other vehicle could. Its hull is so small that it looks more like a motorized armored box than a modern tank. It was loved for its ability to be manhandled through dense jungle, acting as a mobile armored machine gun nest. The Type 97 Teke was the upgraded Teke Scout, built to fix the flaws of the Type 94. It features a rear-mounted engine and a more proportional turret housing a 37mm cannon.
It replaced the beam tank as the premier reconnaissance tool, giving Japanese scouts enough teeth to bite back against enemy light armor. The Type 95 Hago was the ubiquitous Hago, the most widely deployed tank in the Japanese arsenal. It's recognizable by its bell crank suspension and the asbestos padding lining the interior to protect the crew from heat. While it dominated early in the war, it was eventually outclassed and easily destroyed by even the lightest Allied anti-tank guns. As the scouting ended and the heavy fighting began, the medium tanks took the lead. The Type 89 Igo was the Igo, the world's first mass-produced diesel-powered tank. It's a tall, clunky-looking machine armed with a short, low-velocity 57mm gun. It wasn't built for tank-on-tank duels. Its sole job was smashing enemy bunkers and clearing the path for the infantry. The Type 97 Chiha was the legendary backbone of the Japanese armored divisions. You can spot it instantly by the circular radio antenna hoop wrapping around the top of the turret. It was highly mobile and effective in China, but it struggled once it faced the thick steel of the American Sherman. The Type 97 Kai Shin Gunto Chiha was the lethal new turret upgrade developed mid-war. It sports a much larger, elongated turret designed to house a high-velocity 47mm anti-tank gun. This variant was a successful attempt to give Japanese crews a fighting chance against Allied medium armor. The Type 3 Chi-Nu was the last-stand medium, intended to defend the Japanese home islands. It is defined by its massive slab-sided hexagonal turret and a powerful 75mm main gun. It was Japan's best hope for parity with the M4 Sherman, though it was held in reserve and never saw overseas combat. Beyond standard tanks, the Imperial military developed specialized steel for unique missions. The Type 2 Kami was the amphibious tank used by the elite Special Naval Landing Forces. It is famous for the huge boat-like steel muscle pontoons attached to the front and back of the hull. Once it hit the beach, the crew jettisoned the floats, turning the boat into a fully functional light tank. The Type 1 Ho-Ni-I was the Ho-Ni tank destroyer, built for mobile fire support. It features an open-topped boxy casement built onto a Chiha chassis, housing a 75mm field gun. It was a deadly ambush predator, designed to sit in cover and knock out Allied tanks from a distance.
Artillery and anti-tank. The Type 92 battalion gun was the versatile infantry gun that went everywhere the troops did. It has an incredibly low profile and tiny wheels that make it look more like a piece of farm equipment. It was loved by the infantry because it could be broken down and carried over mountains to provide immediate heavy fire. The Type 89 grenade discharger is the infamous knee mortar, a name born from a dangerous Allied misunderstanding. It's a small, simple tube with a curved base plate that was actually meant to be braced against the ground or a log. In reality, it was a devastatingly effective light mortar that allowed a single soldier to rain high explosives on enemy foxholes. The Type 1 47mm anti-tank gun was simply known as the 47mm AT. It is characterized by its very low silhouette and long, slender barrel. It was a master of the ambush, hidden in thick brush to pierce the sides of Allied tanks at close ranges where they felt safe. Aircraft. The Mitsubishi A6M Zero, or the Zero, was the undisputed king of the Pacific in the early war. Its clean, aerodynamic lines and lack of heavy armor made it incredibly light and agile in a dogfight. It dominated the skies with unmatched maneuverability, though its lack of self-sealing fuel tanks eventually earned it the nickname the Flying Lighter.
The Nakajima K-43 Hayabusa, nicknamed the Oscar, was the Army's primary land-based fighter. It's distinguished by its butterfly combat flaps that granted the aircraft exceptional low-speed agility. It was one of the most agile fighters of the early Pacific War, capable of outturning almost any opponent it encountered. The Kawasaki K-61 Hien was known to the Allies as Tony. Unlike its peers, it features a long, pointed nose housing a liquid-cooled V12 engine rather than a radial. It was built for speed and later used as a primary interceptor against high-altitude B-29 Superfortress raids. The Nakajima K-84 Hayate, or Frank, was the high-performance late-war fighter. It has a muscular, powerful frame that houses a massive radial engine and heavy 20mm cannons. It was one of the few Japanese planes that could go toe-to-toe with the best American Mustangs and Corsairs on equal terms. When it came to sinking ships and leveling bases, the bombers took flight. The HE-D3A, or the VAL, was the dive bomber that spearheaded the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's easily recognized by its fixed, spatted landing gear and wide elliptical wings. It was a remarkably stable platform that accounted for more Allied warship sinkings than any other Axis aircraft. The Yokosuka D4Y Susei, nicknamed Judy, was the sleek and fast successor to the VAL. It features a streamlined fuselage and retractable landing gear that made it look like a high-speed fighter. It was so fast for its class that it often outran Allied interceptors during reconnaissance missions. The Mitsubishi G4M was the long-range Betty bomber. It has a massive cigar-shaped fuselage and an enormous wingspan designed for incredible distance. While it carried heavy payloads, its unprotected fuel tanks made it a death trap, making it another target for the Flying Lighter moniker.
Naval vessels. The Yamato-class battleship was the legendary floating fortress. You were looking at the largest battleship ever built, armed with 9 monstrous 18.1-inch guns. It was designed to be the ultimate decider of naval battles, though it was eventually swarmed and sunk by waves of carrier aircraft. The Shokaku-class aircraft carrier was the premier Lucky Crane of the Imperial Navy. It is characterized by its massive flight deck and a bulbous bow designed for superior speed and stability. These carriers were the heart of the Japanese fleet, participating in nearly every major carrier battle of the Pacific conflict. The Kaguriro-class destroyer was the elite Type A destroyer. It features a low, aggressive profile, optimized for high-speed torpedo attacks and surface screening. These ships carried the Long Lance oxygen torpedo, a weapon with unparalleled range and speed that could sink cruisers from miles away. From early war dominance to the final desperate struggle, these weapons defined the Japanese experience in World War II. Which of these iconic systems was the most effective? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more military history. Thanks for watching.